All right, as we continue to reflect on the fifth commandment, you shall not murder. What does this mean? We should fear and love God, that we do not hurt or harm our neighbor in their body, but help and be a friend to them in every bodily need. Let's consider this. Another example of people in our culture seeking to legalize murder is what we call euthanasia. Euthanasia is from the Greek two words, oi, which is good, or you, which means good, and Thanos, or the Marvel enemy Thanos, that's death. Thanatos. So euthanasia means a good death. So that's a euphemism. It's a trick of calling something that is not good, giving it a better name by which to call it. So a good death would be another way to talk about suicide and assisted suicide for the elderly. So suicide, of course, we know is always sad. And it is the taking of one's own life. Now, there's going to be some complicated reasons for why people might do that. We'll talk a little bit here about the elderly who maybe are pronounced terminal. Maybe their health cannot be recovered and death is coming, but they choose to end their life sooner than God calls them home. That's the issue that we'll be wrestling with here. So this is an idea that when people are terribly sick, euthanasia, and dying, that it would be a compassionate thing to end their life before they suffer anymore. Why is it wrong to take someone's life, even if they're sick and dying and in excruciating pain? What should we do for such people? So why would it still be murder to take someone's life who's going to die anyway, terminal, and maybe it's going to be drawn out over weeks or even months? And why is it in God's sight, still something to be saddened by, even if they're in excruciating pain? Go ahead and pause and talk a little bit about that question there. Following that, ask this question: what should we do for such people then? Isn't it unkind to let them continue on and linger in their misery? That might be a way to handle that. What should we do? I'm going to give you a passage to talk about really how God is the author of life and God should be the taker of life. Psalm 31:15. My times are in your hands. Deliver me from the hands of my enemies, from those who pursue me, says the psalmist. So the recognition, that first part, my times are in your hands, O God. Have a blessed conversation then on the topic of euthanasia, as difficult as that might be. Of course, the answer to that second question, what should we do? We should care for the sick. The terminally ill, we should be there, comfort them in their loneliness, give them the gospel. As far as pain, to try to do all we can to help them manage their pain. And that's where some of the blessings of modern medicine come in. And so on and so forth in that regard. But we want to make sure that we don't play God, that we're not going to take someone's life, but out of honor for life, as God defines it, as God redeems it, as God sets it apart as holy, and as we encourage them in the Lord to put their hope and trust in the Lord so that they might be redeemed for all time with a renewed body, right? We want to let God be God and take life according to his timing. The opposite is also true. We don't ever want to try to preserve life, refuse to let someone go when death is inevitable and imminent. So those are some concepts to wrestle with. But any further questions or needed discussion, I would really encourage you to reach out to your pastor or to close, trusted Christian friends who have a good understanding of these principles in play with life. We'll see you in our next video.